Well, ladies and gentlemen, this seems like the news just keeps getting worse every single day. Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Stats with Mini, and today we're going to have our 18th weekly update of the offseason, as we're going to be talking about some Phillies news and some all-around baseball news. Now, guys, before getting into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please share and engage the bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. I'm so tired of making these weekly updates. I want to see baseball. I want to see baseball. I'm tired of sitting here and talking about these petty negotiations. As you probably would expect, for me to be just tired of this, right? I am just tired of it. I think I can speak for every single baseball fan by saying that, I want baseball. I want baseball. Today is March 5th. And we need baseball. We need baseball very, very badly. I'm going to get into a lot of topics in this video about what I think is going to happen, how I think that now the negotiations are going to be more fierce because of the fact that now they have to agree to a CBA, right? They have to agree to the CBA. They're not that far away on the CBA. But now, on top of that, now you're going to have to agree on how you're going to play the 2022 season, which complicates things even more. I don't need to be negative. I'm just trying to be just realistic, right? I mean, not only have to agree to the CBA, but now they have to agree on how they're going to play the 2022 season. And that's very, very annoying. So they haven't got along in the past in 2020. You remember how badly that was handled. So imagine how much worse it's going to be. Now, this is a different story, right? I mean, this isn't, in the lost 2020 season where there were no fans in the ballpark. At this time it was, around, June. I mean, this is a different ballgame. This is a different ballgame. And of course, I don't think it's going to be an easy road ahead for them, negotiating, as it hasn't been an easy road so far. But it is a different story than 2020. I will say that. Of course, there was no deal this past week. A lot of drama. Of course, if you do not know, Monday, February 28th, 11:59 was supposed to be the deadline for losing regular season games, and they had a lot of momentum. On Monday. It was just an unbelievable meeting that they had. It wasn't looking too good that afternoon. There was a report that baseball was willing to cancel the first month of the regular season. It seems so far that they're maybe following suit with that. I mean, only 2 series have been canceled as of now. But just every single day that there's not a deal done makes things more and more unlikely, for more series to not be canceled. So it's just not looking too good, as of right now. So, of course, they met from 10 a.m. to 2:30 in the morning. So they met for over 16 hours. Matt's talking, and he made a great point. He said when they left, around 2:30, 3 a.m. Union Stadium in Jupiter, Florida, when they left, very, very early Tuesday morning, he said that was it, right? I mean, that was it. No deal done. Of course, they're going to go and talk behind their backs and talk to agents like Scott Boras, Dan Lozano, guys like that. And say, is this a good deal? Is this a good deal? And there's a report that Scott Boras had a lot to do with the decision making here, right? Of course, he's got to be on the player's side because, of course, I mean, he gets a certain percentage of this player's contract, so of course he's going to want to get more money. There's also some greed there, but this was just so ridiculous. So then they set the deadline for Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I already talked about this. I'm not going to really talk a whole lot about it. I'm more here to talk about my predictions about what's going to happen. But just to kind of go over a recap, as I said, did make a video about the regular season being delayed. If you want to go take a look at it, it was uploaded on Tuesday night. Feel free to go watch if you want to, suffer through it. With me, just talking about some very upsetting things, right? About how bad this is going to be for our sport. They pretty much said, around 4 o'clock, an hour before the deadline, that OB said that they submitted their best and final offer. Best and final offer. They kept emphasizing, quote, best and final offer. If you go take a look at that offer, that was not in any way a best and final offer. That was a joke of an offer. That was not a good offer, to say the least. I mean, that was just a joke. And the CBT, the biggest issue, and the players unanimously voted no. So that was a big no. And then Rob Manfred at his press conference where he was laughing at dire baseball fans' faces about canceling their season games. As I said, already talking about that to the first 2 series of the 2022 regular season. have been officially delayed. Now, I do think it's important to discuss. Made a post about it. I said, listen, we love baseball. We love the sport of baseball. If you bleed red for the Phils, if you're a diehard Phillies fan, if you're a casual Phillies fan, of course, diehard baseball fans are taking this much more seriously than casual baseball fans, and respectively so. But I think it's very important that we remind ourselves that there are things in our life that we cannot control. And this is one of them. As much as it pains us to watch this process, as much as it pains us for not to put on, NBC Sports Philadelphia, not hear the voice of Tom McCarthy, along with John Kruk, Ben Davis, whoever, Roman R. Jr., whoever it may be, and not watch Phillies baseball, not watch Bryson Scott go opposite way to the Tiki Bar at Baker Ballpark. As much as it pains us not to see any of that stuff, we have to understand that we have no control over it, ladies and gentlemen. We have no control over it. It's very unfortunate. It's very annoying, but we have no control over it. So we just have to accept it and just roll with the punches. I just wanted to remind everybody, just trying to stay positive. Just trying to stay positive, because we don't have the authority. We can't just say, all right, end the lockout. Of course. So we just have to keep things in perspective. It's definitely annoying, but we can't control it. Definitely, a frustrating week to be a baseball fan. Very frustrating week. They've had since December the 2nd to get something done, and even before that, and they didn't. As I said, talked a lot about it on Tuesday night. If you want to hear my thoughts more in depth, I already made pretty much the whole, half of the video. This video I've already spent talking about it. If you want to hear my full-on thoughts for like 15 minutes, you can go watch the video on Tuesday night. But I did announce that I will be covering the Iron Pigs, and an unlikely event, in my opinion, if spring training is not, going on the date of April 5th. Then either way, April 5th is Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs opening day. I'll be doing daily game recaps, exactly like I do for the Phils with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. That includes daily final score posts on Instagram as well. Tony Clark, said, I also talked about this on Tuesday, about how he is willing to have the players go back in the field now, continue to negotiate with Major League Baseball. I think that's a tactic to, of course, I am more on the Players Association side, but that's a tactic to put, to shift more blame on the owners, and rightfully so. But they did that. As Hayden said, maybe they wouldn't strike immediately, but if there was no deal by like late July, August, see you later. They're going to go on strike. So I think that's just hearsay, and both sides wanted to make each other look bad. Of course, the owners do a wonderful job of making the players always look like the bad guy. A touching story here, speaking of Lehigh Iron Pigs, I was listening before, second baseman Daniel Brito was cleared to come back this past week to the field after he suffered a seizure in the middle of a game last year. So that was, you all remember that. It was very upsetting to watch, and this is great news. This is great news, and a nice story to hear. This has been a frustrating week, but that was some news that lit up on your phone screen. So I was happy to hear that and see that. So then they have a little meeting on Thursday, right? There's a one-on-one meeting between Major League Baseball Deputy Commissioner Diane Hallam and MLBPA Representative Bruce Mayer. There were no formal proposals discussed, but they did meet for an hour and a half. So Deputy Commissioner Hallam meeting with Representative Mayer. They definitely talked to probably about what their game plan was and things like that. It was kind of a low-level meeting. Didn't really get much coverage because honestly, I don't really think that many people really care too much about that. But this is not good news for me, at least. I want baseball. I guess I'll do anything for baseball to get baseball back. But a diehard baseball fan, I don't know how can you like this. After 16 teams were in the playoffs in 2020, which was way too much, and this is still way too much. Almost half of the teams in our league will be making the playoffs. You know why? Because the owners get money. The owners get money. And guess who's going to be making the playoffs? Guess who's going to make in the playoffs now? If this happens, the Phils. So maybe they'll still find a way to mess it up like they did in 2020 when they had to expand the playoffs. But it looks like it's probably going to be 14 because you remember they initially agreed on 12, right? The union, of course, the owners are always pushing for 14. They conceded to the union with 12. I'm okay with 12, as I said. I gave the example of the 2021 Mariners, the 2021 Blue Jays, the 2018 Tampa Bay Rays, the team that won over 90 games. I gave those examples as to why I do think having 12 in the postseason is fair. I do. I think that's fair. I do like the current structure, but 14 is I think ludicrous would be an understatement. I think that is so ridiculous to think that the 2021 Phillies were a playoff team. You're living in La La Land if you really think that the 2021 Phillies deserve to make the playoffs. That is just ridiculous. It's a joke. I just can't believe that. I just cannot believe that. So they did not deserve to make the playoffs. It's pretty obvious. So it seems like the MLBPA is willing to expand the playoffs to 14 games in order to give the owners more flexibility at the CBT. Of course, that will speed up the negotiation, but I don't know how I feel about that. I just don't know how I feel about that. I also went live last night with Mets Talk with Hayden. We went live at 8:30. If you want to go check out that stream, you can. You can find it in playlists. Please go check that out. Of course, Major League Baseball announced yesterday that more spring training games have been canceled until at least March 18th. So something we saw coming. So it's going to be quite a while now. That's a little bit under 2 weeks, but this is just so annoying. I mean, of course, we want baseball, and we want it bad. We want it bad. And also just a friendly reminder, Phillies Hats to Media is not only available on YouTube, you can also find me on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. So please go listen to me on those platforms. You can find that all in the description below. I would appreciate it if you went to go check that out. Some news today. Major League Baseball and the Players Association will likely resume talks tomorrow, as the CBT is reportedly the biggest issue as of right now, according to John Heyman. So I did talk about the bonus pool. There's a significant gap there. But the CBT definitely, and Matt Church talked about it in his press conference. He summed it up perfectly. I'm not a big fan of what he did. I am a big fan of Matt Church. I really like him. But I do think it's a joke that what they did, having him on that stage like that. But I think he did say something good. He said, listen, and listen, I understand, when he says we want this, he's not talking about himself. Because, listen, the guy's getting paid $43 million a year. I think he's representing the players. He's not just representing the millionaires. He's representing the guys who are not, as I said, not every baseball player makes millions of dollars. I think that's a bit of a conception that every single baseball player makes, over $1 million. That's not true. That is not true. So he's representing the whole Players Association. He said the biggest issue pretty much is the CBT. But the thing is actually they're really close to a lot of issues. And he even said that too. The biggest issue is CBT. Because let me just tell you, if they give them what they want CBT, they'll be willing to really fold on things like the bonus pool, things of that nature. But the thing and here's my little, annoyance, if you will. Not only, this is why it was so important to get a deal done by the February 28th / March 1st deadline. Now, it just complicates things so much more, because not only do you have to agree to CBA, which, as I said, they're pretty close to, doing this. Of course, as I said, they could get the CBA done, and the union is already, expressing some interest, as I said, in saying, okay, we'll be willing to go to 14 teams if you give us what we want in the CBA. So that's part of negotiating. But now they're going to have to agree on how they're going to play the 2022 season, how they're going to get paid, how many games are going to be played. It's a mess. So now they have to agree on the CBA. Now they have to agree on how they're going to play the 2022 season, like what happened in 2020. Which I understand 2020, that was a much bigger deal because of the fact that so many games were lost. Let me just tell you, as of right now, for the Phillies, only 5 games have been lost, okay, from the regular season. So it's not like, 100+ games have already been lost, and, we're, in June, and, it's not that bad. But it's still, they have a double layer of things they have to negotiate on, and that is what is not good. That is what is not good. But realistically, I do see this getting resolved in the next week and a half. I think you're maybe going to see a 152-game season, maybe 150, which should still feel like the 162 vibe. As I said, there's nothing we can do about it, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you do see them make it up. Maybe you see them make it up in double headers. Because as I said, they can't just cancel games. The union and the Major Baseball executives have to agree on how they're going to play the season. So maybe you do see them make up those games. Because you know what? They're really going to want full salary. Maybe you see them compromise, say, all right, 14 teams in the playoffs, and give us a full salary. Maybe they say, okay, deal, and they just play 150, 152. I don't know. I'm just tired of these weekly updates. I want real baseball, as I said many times before. It's weird to be making a weekly update in the month of March. So this is the 18th weekly update. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please share the notification bell. Please like this video. Comment on this video. Share this video. Check out the social media link section. Phillies Hats to Media, Instagram, Instagram, call or text 267-225-3292. Email phillieshatsmedia@gmail.com. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you all later. I'll see you guys.